If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Monday, February 4th, 2013. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. Today in the Finis Monitor, we'll be joined by Alex Forrester. She's a senior at Yale University and is back in the pool after an injury kept her out of the Olympic trials. She'll be one to watch in the butterfly events at the NCAA championships. And Alex joins us now from the Kipeth Trophy Room in New Haven, Connecticut. Alex, good to see you. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing very well, thanks. It's great to see you back in the pool. You had a big injury last year that unfortunately kept you out of Olympic trials. Tell us what that injury was and kind of what you did to help treat it.
I have a torn labrum, which I decided not to get surgically repaired. So that's a muscle in your shoulder. And I was having a lot of complications from it with my back. It was causing my back muscle to tighten and kind of decrease the mobility in my spine, which was, it put me through a lot of pain. I was taking a lot of muscle relaxants just to get through college season. And I did get through college season, but afterwards I needed to take a lot of time off to just let my muscles kind of readjust and so after that, it was just a lot of physical therapy. And I've been continuing to be really diligent with my physical therapy, which is good.
Well, that's really interesting. So you were having this pain even at NCAAs last year?
I started having pain in January. And so I was barely at NCAAs. I hadn't been training full on for 3 months. So it was mentally kind of difficult, but I really wanted to finish the season and compete well. So that became my first priority, and I just kind of did whatever I had to do to make that happen. Well,
you had to be pretty excited to know that through all that, you made it to the finals of the 100 fly. You went 51.9 for 6th place. I mean, that had to be pretty encouraging, knowing that fighting through all that pain, even though you're taking muscle relaxers, probably had you a little encouraged by what could be happening for your senior year.
Yeah, it was exciting, and it was kind of miraculous how well I did. It was encouraging for my senior year, but also it was discouraging to have done that well and not have been able to be on my game and do better. But I'm so excited for this year, and I'm so excited for NCAAs to really see what I can do and what I can put forward.
At what point did you say, this is so bad that I won't even be able to compete at Olympic trials?
It was getting really bad towards the end of NCAA, so I was already considering what to do in order to compete through trials and kind of the long-term effects that it might have on my body. So I had to make an executive decision, just a life decision about, back and choosing not to compete at trials, which was incredibly disappointing. And not competing at trials was just, it was horrible, but I needed to do it for my general health.
Well, yeah, I think that's a better decision to make than saying just fight through it for the shot at making the Olympic team and then having to, deal with the repercussions later down the road.
Yeah.
So, after that, tell me what the treatment was. You said you didn't have any surgery on it. So, how were you treating it, and most importantly, how does it feel now?
I feel great now. Like I said, most of the treatment I had to do was just extensive physical therapy, rest. I do a lot of manual therapy, so I get my back mobilized and worked out by a physical therapist every week. And so that's basically what I've been doing, and it's been working really well. And I'm really happy with where my body is. Although it's a give and take battle. Some weeks are better than others, and it's always something I have to be conscious of when I'm training, which is kind of a pain, but it's still better, I think, than the option of doing surgery, which I think is drastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what brought it on?
The first time I injured my shoulder, I was 12 or 13 years old. So it's been a kind of a constant problem, but the types of training that I was doing last year and the year before that just really exacerbated the problem. So it was more just about realizing that I had to change the way I was swimming and the way that I was training in order to continue to swim, which is the goal, obviously.
Right. Well, I would say you're doing very well. You went 52-1 in the 100 fly at a mid-season meet. It's fourth fastest in the country. What are your thoughts on that time and the race itself?
It was so exciting to go that fast early in the season. It's a preview, I think, for what I can do, and it felt great. I felt really long. I've been working on my kicking, which has always been my huge weakness, and I think that my new coach, Jim Henry, has done an amazing job at making my weakness a strength. So I'm really excited to rest down and get me and do really well at NCAAs.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about your dynamic with Jim Henry. This is his first season there at Yale. I mean, not only having to deal with coming off this injury and rehab and all that, you've got a new coach to deal with. How has it been working with Jim so far?
Jim's great. He's a wonderful person and an amazing coach. He's so knowledgeable and about swimmers, not just as athletes, but also as people. He's a great fit for Yale. I can't imagine anyone being better. He works as us both as athletes and as students, it's such a pleasure to work with him, and I'm so excited to be able to have had this opportunity.
Well, looking ahead to NCAAs, are you the type of person who is scoping out the competition right now, or are you kind of just staying within your own little bubble and worrying mostly just about yourself?
I've never really been one to scope out the competition. I love racing. I don't think that obsessing about it is really beneficial, at least for me personally. I just want to get up there and not really care who's next to me, just see what I can do in that moment, that just spark of time. And so I think that's more fun, for me at least.
Well, I first met you at the USA Winter Nationals in 2011. You got second in the 100 fly, kind of surprised everybody. I know it even surprised yourself. I remember seeing your teammates just ecstatic over that, and you were just kind of not really processing the whole moment. I mean, looking back on that now, how has that performance at that meet shaped the way you are as a swimmer right now?
I mean, obviously it's so exciting to rank top 3 at a national meet ever, and I was just ecstatic about that, and I think it definitely gave me the confidence to want to continue kind of obstacles with my injury that I've had to overcome, and I loved racing that race. I loved being in that position and just doing so well. It's such a thrill. It's such an adrenaline rush. And I think that's why I keep doing this sport, is just, it's a thrill to do it. There's nothing like it.
Do you think you'll continue on with swimming after NCAAs?
That's the plan right now. Obviously I have to think about logistical things in terms of what I'm going to do after graduation, and how to work that out financially with jobs and swimming at the same time, or what kind of, normal life things. But I think I want to. I definitely want to. I just have to figure out how that works in the general scheme of what I should be doing.
When do you think you'll be graduating from Yale?
I'll graduate this semester. At Yale, you have to complete, as an athlete, you do have to complete your classes in 4 years. So.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure to have to get it all done in 4 years, whereas most people do it in 5.
I think it is it's a little more compact, but I love being involved in this school and I like what I'm doing, so it's not work, it's play. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm sure it wasn't a surprise to you when you went there. I mean, obviously you were probably told all this when you were recruited, but over the years, how have you been able to get this great amount of workload done out of the pool and still be able to focus on being a good swimmer?
Um, like I said, because it's play for me and it's not really work, it makes it so much easier because I enjoy doing it, and it's incredible how much more productive you can be when you love what you're doing. And I, it's just the place for me, and I think the work was just kind of whole package that I loved about it. I love working hard. I really enjoy my classwork, so it wasn't, I don't know, it hasn't been a struggle.
Well, that's really good. What are you going to get your degree in?
I am going to I'm a humanities major. I concentrate in Shakespeare studies. I'm writing my senior thesis right now, so I'll graduate with a degree in humanities.
Interesting. Shakespeare, do you think you want to be an English teacher, trying to teach Shakespeare to young kids?
I'm not sure. Teaching is definitely one of the options I'm looking at. But I mean, I could work in theater production, but I also could go in a completely opposite direction. I know of people who are anthropology majors who are now lawyers and businessmen. I just chose what I was passionate about, and I decided to do that. And then moving on to the next step, seeing what I'll be interested next.
Well, as a Shakespeare scholar, maybe at the Ivy League championships coming up soon, you could kind of lead your team with that famous "Once more to the breach, dear friends" quote from Henry V, and get them all inspired to swim fast.
Yes, I've never been one who's really been able to perform Shakespeare. I'm definitely a reader, not a performer, but I'll send out a YouTube clip to my teammates, and we'll get stoked.
There you go. If you have to have Kenneth Branagh do it for you, I'm sure he'll be just fine.
Yes.
Well, Alex, thanks so much for joining us. Wishing you all the best of luck the rest of the season, and we're looking forward to seeing how you do at NCAAs.
Thank you.
All right, so that's Alex Forrester joining us in the Finis Monitor today from New Haven, Connecticut. And that will do it for today's edition of the Morning Swim Show. If you've missed any of our previous episodes, you can find them all archived on swimmingworld.tv. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.